Hey, you there! Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder matcher on the most amazing Neuroxys map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the West, ending with Team 2 in the East, also known as Blue Team versus Red Team. Starting off with Team 1's Northern plan, working our way southward, we have in Amethyst Purple, the Doctor, going first lane as a Cybran. He is a 1391 rated player. To his southwest in Royal Blue is Cups, going first lane as a Seraphim. He is a 1515 rated player. And last but not least for Team 1, the highest rated player on their team and in the game overall is Taffy, going first lane as a UEF in Stitch Blue. He is a 1794 rated player. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have one Cybran, one UEF, one Seraphim, which means Team 1 lacks Aeon technology. Starting up with Team 2's Ruby Red player, working our way southward, we have Scorpio going first land as a Seraphim. He is a 1706 rated player, and again, he's going first land. And Chevy Crimson to his south is Baller, going first land as a UEF. He is a 1568 rated player, and he is going first land as well. And last but not least for Team 2 is Miles Glorious, going first land as the one and only Aeon of the game. He is an orange color wins at 1463 rated. And by the way, Scorpio is the highest rated player on Team 2. Again, he's in Ruby Red. And for 6 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at, well, it's very underwhelming, 3600 reclaim, which means it's about 600 mass per player. But what they lack in reclaim on the map, they make up for in mass points on the map. Taking a look at, say, Team 1 side of the map, and I'm going to say that Team 1 is the northern side and Team 2 will be the southern side, just to kind of keep everything a little bit easy. I'm going to cut it down the middle just like this, kind of where my yellow dots are lined up. So in Team 1 side of the map, they have a Tri-Mex position here, another one up here. They also have a couple of dual mexes on the front line with another Tri-Mex over here. Nice 5-star mix. And another 6-star mix over here, and a lot of one-offs. I say that's another Tri-Mex right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Tri-Mex positions, as well as, actually that's a 4-star. That's a quad mex, not a 5. Oh no, that's what he's sitting on top of it. Anyway, 5-star mex, 6-star mex. So definitely a lot of mexes here for the northern player of Team 1's Doctor. Same thing for the southern side for Miles. We already see a little bit of rating going down here from both teams. Let's go ahead and slow this map down so we can cover that a lot easier. We do see that the Salon is holding position on top of a nice little a mass point position. He's kind of hiding in there in that hologram. He is stealthed as well, which means that Team 1 cannot see him. But once, of course, if the energy ever does run out, it will be spotted. We do see that Team 2's Chevy Crimson player Baller tried to land some units up here to the north. One engineer survives the landing, but this is very close to the Doctor's commander and some units outbound from him, so that position will be destroyed very, very quickly. In the south, pushing back attempts has been started by Team 2's Miles against Taffy, but Taffy is sending his comm forward. He's going to blap away these units very, very quickly and establish a frontline position in the southern sector of the map. Again, same thing for Team 2. Scorpio doing the exact same thing. The only difference is we don't see Baller's comm on the front line as of yet here for the southern side. So it's going to be 2v1 here pretty shortly between Team 2 and Team 1. And 1v2 in favor of Team 1 on the northern side of things, with Team 2 Scorpio pushing in on the northern side. We do see that the Doctor, again, establishing a frontline manufacturing facility, as well as Cups getting more mexes online. That one engineer is still alive, just barely, and has finished the land factory, so he'll be able to pump out reinforcements here. For Baller, the comm of Cups is under some fire outbound from Scorpio's units. He's going to get a little bit of veterancy from this, not enough to get to 1-star, but at least a little bit to start that track upwards. Scorpio closing in the gaps here. Cups and Scorpio are both Seraphim, so no commander advantages one way or the other in terms of hit points or the like. In the south, Team 1's Taffy is being halted by the massive amount of units outbound from Miles. We do see that Baller is making his way to that section of the map, but unfortunately for Miles, he has a little bit of a bleeding issue here on the western flank. A couple of units run by his units, and they're going to be able to destroy most of those early mexes on the southern edge. We do see that Team 1's Cup has been forced into the water for the time being, but reinforcements nearby from the Doctor coming in will probably assist in trying to shove Scorpy either into the water himself or try to have a nice little pincer maneuver with Cups popping out of the water here pretty shortly. He has to be very careful, though, because he's approaching the edge of the water, which means his comm's head will probably pop out, so he will be able to be targeted. And his unit, actually, no, he's going to reclaim, very interestingly. Not going to go after the kills in mass, very surprisingly, but we are seeing that the Doctor is now cut off Scorpy's commander, and Scorpy will have to go into the water to evade these two commanders. This northeastern front is starting to collapse. We do see some engineers outbound from Cups' commander going for this plateau mechs up here. I didn't mention them because there's only one of them on that plateau. If there were 3 or 4 of them, it'd be a little bit more important, but just one isn't really that important. We do see that Taffy's forces have been halted for the time being, but he is grouping up around the exact same position that Scorpy tried to, but Scorpy is being shoved out very, very quickly, and we're seeing the frontline facility for Baller kind of just fall to the wayside, unfortunately. He's trying to spam out as much as he can. That T1 PD is the only thing keeping that facility online. And the engineers do get a radar system going down. And Team 1's Cup still putting the pressure on Scorpy's forces and supply lines, forcing them back. T2 is on the way here for Scorpy in the pond. He's going to be able to establish, I mean, maybe some AA in the middle would be pretty good. Maybe some TMD, something, but I mean, I feel like he should go for gun. I know he's 2v1. Getting a little bit more hit points will help, but the damage isn't really going to side with him. It's going to side with Team 1. In the south, Baller has now joined Miles on the front line, so it is now a proper 2v1. And Team 2 is going to take that momentum and shove it in Team 1's direction. Team 1 PD is online. AA also coming online. Not really a lot of defensive emplacements to hide behind or rally around, but Taffy getting some veterancy on board, almost at 1 star. He really needs to get that gun upgrade to be able to start outranging or at least fighting back those Aurora from Miles. In the water, and Scorpio's holding position, going for some torp launchers. Very interesting. Gets a sonar system, an AA emplacement, and now torp launchers. We do see that Cups has actually popped into the water as well. Team 1 should see what's going on here. They do see what's going on. Cups will receive some damage. You go, okay, I'm going to leave now. See you, bye. We do have a couple of Zui outbound here from him as well, and those are getting reclaimed by the commander of Scorpy, not allowing those torpedo launchers to be destroyed. And the Doctor is holding position on that little isthmus, little causeway, whatever you want to call it, over here. And the comms will boop one another. Scorpy now following Cups' commander. He might be looking for a kill. The Doctor is nearby, though. Scorpion needs to be very careful where that other commander is. If he tries to go for the attack now, it might not work out for him. But he's going to send everything he has forward, not knowing the commander of Doctor is right next door. And the Doctor will help halt this advance. The Scorpion's going to start flapping into Cups' commander. And now the Doctor's going to push on through and go for the commander of Scorpion himself. T1 PD being spammed up very, very quickly due to the T2 engineering suite on board said commander. But it will force back Team 1, but it's not going to net anything positively in either direction. Just a little bit of reclaim, but that could be worth it. But honestly, it's probably not going to be that much worth it. T2 PD now coming online, so now this advance will be halted entirely for Team 1, at least for the time being. We do see a couple of Zui have landed here on the eastern side. Will be intercepted by a couple of FAMs and other units. So that nice little transport plate doesn't really work out. I love the attempt. Does kill off a T1 Mechs, but not really much after that. We'll look at a second one. It will get 2 T2 Mechs. That's 4 mass a second. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Gun has been finished for Taffy. He's going for nano. Gun range has been finished for Miles. Going for advanced range. He has the speed upgrade already on board. Nano repair on the front lines. And he is able to one-tap all of these Aurora very easily with that gun upgrade. And Taffy is suffering a lot of damage. He will have to cancel that upgrade, unfortunately, but he's going to get a lot of veterancy from this. He's already at 1 star. And those Aurora, again, are tin foil. There's not a lot of armor on board, though. Or I should say hit points, not armor. I guess they have weak armor, too, but there's not really a lot of hit points on board. T2 starting to be on the minds here for both players. Pillars online for him. He should go for some parashields just to defend his commander while he goes for that upgrade once again. Nano is started. Baller sitting right here. That is very aggressively reclaiming those trees and foliage and whatever the heck, bushes, whatever those are. We do see the Aurora moving in. I feel like Taffy's commander should have just come and joined this push. And it's really not going to net really anything, at least for Taffy, because all his forces are going to be killed off. And Team 2 is going to take that advantage and shove it in his face. We see on the northeastern side, front lines now coming to some sort of stabilization here for both teams. Tactical missile is started on board that commander for Scorpy. And Team 1's Cups has retreated to the north pond, little lake. His comm isn't even underneath the water. It's just cooling down. His gun's a little bit on fire. Probably needs to let that cool down. T2 coming on the way for the Doctor in the north. Taffy now has Nano on board, able to tank those shots from the Aurora a little bit better and able to get more and more veterancy. Now at 2 stars as well. Aurora using the water advantage to escape and coming to attack the supply lines here for Taffy. Unfortunately, there are units over here, and it looks like they are going to be intercepting those units once they make land side. Miles is pushing Taffy back, or at least trying to slow him down with that advanced range upgrade. Bomber over top, killing off engineers or whatever is going off. Obsidian's making their stage debut on the southern side of the map for Miles. Very, very tanky units. I mean, they are Obsidian heavy tanks. That's kind of what they do. They have a huge shield, a 1,500 point shield. I don't know if that's the biggest shield that you can get, but I know Titans have 700 and Harbingers have 1,000. So the shield on board those are very strong, but of course the hit points after that, the whole hit points are not great. Mongoose also being used at range against Baller's commander. It is UEF versus UEF, a bog standard, very, right off the supply line. Commander, we do see the Obsidians coming in, trying to distract Taffy. Some overcharges will kill off most of the hit points. And we see a parashield coming in to protect Baller's commander, at least for a little bit. Parashield at 4 HP, and Taffy looks like he's just going to be walked down by Miles. We see these pillars and everything else in range of this commander of Miles. This might not be the best play for him. He pushes forward. He probably should have gone for that shield upgrade. Pillars are moving into range, and a couple of those Obsidians are actually body blocking Miles' commander. He drops into the low yellows, falls into the red, 2,600 hit points for a second. And he's about to get 1-star veterancy. If he kills off a pillar, he will get it. Yes, he will. He's back into the yellow. Taffy at 3-star veterancy will have to retreat. He's lost most of his forces, but he's forced back Team 2 at least for a little bit and forced Baller to go for Nano Air, says Taffy, saying, where's my air support? Team 1 does have T3 Air online in the form of Cups. T3 Air also online in the form of Baller. They all make air, says Cups. Well, I mean, that's true, but there's only one player going for T3. The other ones are just at T1s. I don't even see anything. Almost some air here for Scorpy. And Scorpy forcing his way forward, trying to get through this little cavernous area of the map, trying to use some geographical elements to be able to hide his units from fire. The Doctor is just having to stave this off by himself. Cops is distracted, going for air. I don't blame him. He doesn't want his comm on the front line to get shot down, but he probably really needs to be here just to deal with these T1 units outbound from Scorpy. We do see that Taffy in the southwest has been forced into the water. He is in the green, so he's fine in terms of hit points, but he's being bombarded by bombers and Obsidian T2 tanks on the front lines. He could easily pop out and deal with these and get that much needed veterancy to 4 stars. Matter of fact, almost done here for Baller, and Miles is 50% hit points, roughly, a little bit less than that. That 4 HP Asylum coming in to assist. That was not a parachute, it was an Asylum, but still did its job. A couple of units running around the mechs in the middle here for Team 1. Missile launcher has been somewhat great effect, going after mechs in the northwestern corner of the map, taking out T2s. It looks like there's some TMD being built here pretty shortly, so that's going to be canceled. But another T2 mechs is going to be taken out here. It is fully ringed. That is 9 mass a second. That's a nice grab here from Team 2. Scorpy has killed off almost 11,000 mass with his commander, and of course mostly from his missile launcher. We're seeing in terms of game overall, Team 1 at 240, Team 2 at 340, Team 2 heavily ahead in the mass generation game by 100 mass then or more. Taffy being bombarded by bombers, and we do see that Miles is being bombarded by Taffy's commander. Taffy almost at 4-star veterancy, Miles at 1, but of course he has the better engagement with the advanced range. Taffy needs to hide behind some units or parachutes or something. Well, Taffy gets a rank in veterancy, so he's going to continue to push. He's sitting at 6,000 hit points and falling. Miles sitting at 4,000 and falling. Taffy has got to get out of there. Sub 4,000 hit points. Mongeese move in. They're going to start going after Miles' as commander and going after the rest of the PD and other defenses here. Taffy dropping below 500. He needs one more shot to be cooked, and there he goes. Gets shot by that PD. And that is the first kill of the game at 17 minutes by Miles' sniper rifle of a Oblivion T2 PD in placement. You can see Miles was barely in that range, just needed to move a little bit further northward and he would have been fine. They just couldn't make it out of dodge. Great grab here by Miles. This will slow Team 1 down considerably. All of this pressure that Team 2 was feeling in the south sector of the map will be alleviated, at least mostly. Not all of it, but I'd say 80% of it at a minimum will be taken out. Great grab here by Miles. That's going to put Team 1 severely on the back foot. And with the mass assassinations going down here from Scorpy's commander, it's really hampering Team 1's expansion on the northern side of the map. So both sides of the map really suffering, except on the actual land department where Team 1's doctor is just running his way forward, forcing Scorpy back. He's had to actually flee the water, and he's going to go, no, you know, I like the water. The water is safe. The water is cool. We do see all these units just barreling on forward. Ilshi's trying to be manufactured as quickly as they can be to halt this advance. They are the unit I would use. You can see just so many rounds firing immediately, and even a T3 gunship online for Baller coming in. This will slow it and even probably stop it entirely. And like I said, in the south, this would be the time for Miles to just scale his eco up. Team 1 is going to be doing the exact same thing, so he might as well. They have the lead. They don't really know that because, of course, you don't know what the other team is producing. You can kind of guess based on whatever flyovers you see, but for the most part, it's been really in favor of Team 2. It even looks like that some mexes were taken out in the main base for cups. We see a Team 1 mex here. That should be T2. I don't see any T1s in this mechs, or these mexes. Again, there's some T1s in here as well. So Scorpy took that range advantage with the missile and just shoved it in Team 1's direction. It's done a great job of just hampering the eco production and, you know, income and everything from Team 1. It's given Team 2 the advantage, at least for the long game terms. Short game terms, Team 1 and Team 2 kind of tied up. Besides, of course, the comm being dead on Team 1. And speaking of which, Team 1 has 2 players left, that being Taffy being killed off a couple of minutes ago by that sniper rifle of an Oblivion PD. I think it was this one, I feel like. It has less veterancy, so maybe not? No, I think it had to have been this one because this one just barely has the range for it. Anyways, Team 2 has all of their players remaining. In terms of map control, it's a little bit favoring, I'd say, Team 1, but ever so slightly Team 2 is pushing back in the northeast, so that might change here pretty shortly. And mass income, Team 2 sitting at 460, roughly. Team 1 sitting at 300, so 160 mass income more for Team 2 is a considerable advantage at 20 minutes on the clock. It is a ladder match, so it takes a little bit longer to get to that late end-game stage, but you know, having 160, 150 more than your opponent accelerates that quite quickly. We're seeing T3 units now being on the front lines for both teams. Lots of Ilshis here for Scorpy. Can't stop producing those Ilshis. He's only gone for T2. T3, of course, Air has been online for both teams quite for a long time, and Miles is now pumping out some Redeemers and Harbingers to the front line to assist with pushes in the south. He's actually sent his comm into the water. I feel like he should probably go for at least the regular shield upgrade or the first shield upgrade, because only having 14,000 hit points, Team 1 could easily come in if they know the comm is there, could easily blitz him down with some torpedo bombers. I mean, Team 2, the air hasn't really been that much of a problem for either team in terms of having the lead or having to deal with it, whatever the case may be. So if Team 1 does decide to go in that direction, he could easily be killed off. We see that Miles is just going to charge forward. There's a couple of PD, there's a shield being built, there's a decent amount of skyboxers in the mix as well, so it's not that many offensive ground-to-ground units. And Miles pops out of the water just briefly, and Team 1 doesn't know he's there, which is surprising. You would think that he should be visible, but for some reason he's not. He doesn't have any tech that would disguise his presence, which is very weird. Huh. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, you can't even see him right here. You should be able to see him. There should be no radar on board. Yeah, there's an Omni sensor. There's no radar jamming. There's no cloaking. There's no nothing. So maybe just because he's sitting in the water, that's why. Yeah, Cups is going, what is going on with that? Yeah, I don't know with that. We see some Riptides moving in, and even the Riptides don't see him, which is very, very strange. Huh. I don't know what that's about. That's GG, says Baller. I don't know about that. In the northeast, more units outbound here from Doctor pushing back. Scorpy building up a nice little Team 1 naval facility. Looks like he's going to go for T2 here shortly for those cruiser missiles. And Miles' comm still wasn't spotted. He gets up to almost 5-star veterancy from that move. Clears the way for his units to move in. That's still very weird that he wasn't spotted by Team 1, even though he was in visual range. His head is out of the water because he can fire. When his gun is out of the water, so he can fire. It's just very strange. He's going for shield now, but I don't know if that's a glitch or something. But it doesn't make sense that he's in the water, which sonar would be used to detect him, but he's on visual contact, which is very, very strange. Anyways, in the east, the Doctor is pushing into Scorpy's base. T3, actually no, T2 units being built up. Some Ravagers trying to be built up by Baller to assist. There are some bricks moving in here, just ravaging Team E2's eastern player of Scorpy. He's losing eco very, very quickly. He's dropping to 130. Team 2 still in the lead by almost 200 mass income. Probably would have been 200, but that lead is going to drop quite considerably. Bricks and everything else trying to be thrown at this. It's doing a great job. More units coming in here now from Cubs. Couple of FAMs just to assist with the push. We see an ASF sitting on the ground, probably not the best idea. And those bricks are being the main target first. More Ravagers, more T1 PD. It's not going to push into the air grid. That'd be probably great. Obviously amazing for Doctor if he is able to get to that the air grid, but there's not really a lot of firepower to break through all these Ravagers. And their main goal has been accomplished, taking out the T2 land headquarters, which just decimates Scorpy's ability to do much of anything. Well, could have gone after the PD, not the PGen, because he's still positive on power, but that would have sent him into the negatives. The Team 1's Doctor will be forced back, but his goals have been accomplished. He's severely hampered Scorpy, sitting at 21 mass income. Doesn't get that T3 mechs, definitely unfortunate, but man, that's gotta hurt. Team 1's lead, Team 2's leads dropped to 60 mass more. Team 1 needed that, and Miles is pushing forward. Is he still spotted? Okay, he can be seen now, which is very, very strange. And some bombers waiting over here. And ASF gets immediately destroyed. We do see some forces now coming in to push Miles back into the water. And so there are successes mounting in the west here for Team 2. Successes mounting in for Team 1. Team 1 has now surrounded Scorpy in the water. The only way he can escape is he just kind of scoots on by through this avenue. A couple of units outbound in the middle, just going after whatever they can from that position. But the facility is essentially gone. Scorpy doesn't really have much. We have some Team 1 Torp launching subs in the water just to assist with forcing back Team 1's. But we see some bricks outbound. That's not going to stop Team 1's advance anytime soon. Missile launchers on the front line using their range to their advantage. We do even see Baller coming in and actually grabbing some of the mexes and reclaim here from Scorpy, essentially cannibalizing that base. And Team 2's Miles is still pushing in. He has 11,000 mass killed. He's lost his shield. He's in the yellow. The Percy doesn't target the comm very interestingly. Only targets the units. And this attack is starting to be forced back by all the Percys and all the other T3 units mounting here. Titans making their way forward to just push back that land army. Bricks now making it to the other side of the water. And now Scorpy, his head is barely underneath the surface, so he's fine. He's launching missiles as we speak. Actually, no, I thought that was a missile launching, but I guess not. Everything has been destroyed except for a frigate in the water. There goes the missile launch, going after a couple of things in the middle. There's a nice little missile launcher that's going to be annihilated. Yep, there it goes. Great grab here by Scorpy. But he's essentially been cut off from the rest of the everything on Team 2's side of the map. So he's just going to sit there until either he dies or he can be rescued, either or. He's essentially been knocked out of the game just because his main base has been cannibalized. He has a T2 land facility and a couple of, actually one mechs, and that's about it. I don't know if he gifted those over or not, but he probably just said, no, you can have them, it's fine. There are some Ravagers here that have been built as some Team 1 PD to protect the air grid. Again, and air not really making its huge debut. We do see a couple of gunships and ASFs clearing out the middle here for Team 1, or from Team 1 from Team 2. And we're seeing some artillery try to force back Miles even further. The shield is almost recharged. And once that happens, he can be protected for about 8,000 hit points. Maybe we'll see him go for the shield heavy upgrade. Don't know. We're even seeing some frigates outbound from Team 1's cups in the northeastern pond. And this is going to be used to great effect because these things can hit the main air grid here for Team 2. And we even see some bricks in the water here from Team 1's. The Doctor moving in. We see some harbingers waiting to get a go-ahead. We see an engineer popping in the water saying, hey, what's wrong with that? Harbingers are just, we see you. we see you. We see you down there. Come out of the water. Hey, come here. The feet can't go in the water. The harbingers, they're kind of the hydrophobic. So they can't go out of the water. I wouldn't be surprised to see torp bombers be built to try to deal with this. We could even see some Aeon ones, but there's no air facility in Aeon department. We do see the missile launchers being halted by some TMD, and more cruisers are coming online. And that's all he's going to build, and I don't blame him. It provides AA and missile launcher capability. The land army for Doctor actually shifting westward. We're seeing some harbingers actually take the advantage and push northward, but it does open up the bricks to move in. If they kill off the P-gens, that would be very big for killing off essentially the air power for Team 2, at least the ability to build more air power. Broadswords coming in, going after all the AA units here for this land army from the Doctor. And they're starting to be chewed up, but there's a decent amount of gunships here in the mix, as well as some regular bombers moving in to just assist as well. Miles is holding position in the water with his forces back. T3 Naval Headquarters is online getting some cruisers. He's going to go for the missile ships and the Omens, I would assume, at least the missile ships. And Team 1 needs to be prepared for that. I don't even know if Team 1 knows about that. They know something's down there. They don't know what it is. But they know there's a naval facility at a minimum. Harbingers push forward, trying to goad the forces from Team 1 to fall back. And it looks like the bricks got annihilated once they made themselves known and at least put themselves on the water, on the land. But they took out half the air grid. The T3 Air Headquarters is fine. It was isolated. Apologies for missing that. That was a blink and you'll miss it kind of situation. I went over here. I came back and they were all dead. But the air grid has been hampered. It's not entirely destroyed, but it's enough to just slow Team 2's advancement in air power, at least for the time being. Team 1's air grid isn't really as expansive as I would expect it to be, especially at 30 minutes on the clock. I know Cups has been distracted with land engagements, especially with units outbound from Miles cutting in through the middle, going after the Doctor's base. There's not a lot of T3 units, and the bricks, again, they're known for being a brick because they're very sturdy and they're annoying to cut through, because a brick walls, you ever try to drill through a brick wall, it's kind of annoying. And that's some reward. There's a couple of missile launchers in there. There's some even songs. They're going after T2 mechs. They do get it, but I mean, I think the mass costs alone definitely favor Team 1. They lost the T2 mechs. I mean, that is fully ringed, so it's 9 mass a second that they lose. So every second that goes by, 9, 18, 27 kind of thing. But there'll be engineers deployed very quickly to recoup the losses. Team 1's ASF horde is getting bigger. Team 2's is staying about the same, a little bit bigger, just because the air grid has been diminished. Pigeons are being built. ASFs are just going to be sent in. I don't know if he misclicked this or not, but huge loss here for Team 1's Cups. Doesn't get any ASFs killed. I really don't know where he was going with that, but that's a huge advantage now for Team 2. Team 2 just gets air dominance. Like I said, I don't really know what happened with that. ACC lost air. ACC lost air. Air. I don't know what that means. I don't. Crowd control. Air crowd control lost air. I really don't know what the ACC means, but he lost air. Team 2 sitting at 60 ASF plus 1 gunship. And all those 60 ASFs are going to escort that 1 gunship. And looks like the cruisers have fallen back for a little bit. Team D is too strong to break on through. T2 still the main stage here for Team 1, but Team 2 has a decent amount of T1, T2 units. Now they're going for some aircraft. And isn't even going for the missile ships. Very surprising. It would be a little different if he was Cyber and went for T2 destroyers, those Salems to walk on land, but he's really going for a lot of units that just don't really have a lot of range. The cruisers, they have TMD and AA, but that's it. They don't have any, missile launchers on board. Frigates, short range. So I'm really surprised. Now, there is 1 destroyer in there, but I feel like he should have gone for missile ships, or even just maybe even some T3 Omens just to really get that range advantage. Baller sending out some Perseus to force back the Doctor in the north. Crab is coming online. He skipped the Monkey Face. Fat Boy coming online as well. We haven't really seen a lot of experimentals. It's mainly just been T3 units for the most part. And some T2s and T1s, of course. Fat Boy being produced by Baller as we speak. Destroyer online being used to deployed against these TMDs, which will actually be ripped apart by those laser weapons. They are wide enough, and it does look like the Mexes were gifted back over to Scorpion. So it looks like probably Baller built them and then gifted them over just so he can expedite his teammates' return into offensive capabilities. Harbingers barely have enough range going after a couple of those cruisers, but there are now destroyers online. 1 cruiser will remain, and unfortunately here for Team 1, that naval power has been diminished quite significantly. But the attacks on the mainland have continued to commence. Aurora trying to be deployed because of their hover tech, but the laser weapons are too powerful and they are blapped away very, very quickly. I feel like I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Okay, maybe +2 a little bit. Maybe plus is +1. Still, there is now a T3 Omen coming online. So that wasn't... Okay, so he did build an aircraft carrier. And he built an Omen. They look very similar on their icons. This just has a little bit bigger of a wider... I don't know what you would call that. Covering than the Omen does. But it's very similar. At least at short glance. Battleship is online using the, again, long range on board. It can attack essentially everything in Taffy's old base and probably some of the air grid for Cups. This turned into a really interesting match where Navy has now made a main stage appearance. Harbinger is on the front line trying to push into the Tickle Cannon PD emplacements here for the Doctor. Going to try to blitz on through everything. There's a lot of PD here. I mean, 1,000 of anything will kill anything. Harbingers will kill off 9, 18, 27 mass a second with those 3 T2 fully ringed Mexes. And ASS being rebuilt by Team 1's air player for Cups. I really don't know what happened there. He sent them in maybe by accident and didn't know what was going on. And then eventually, before he can gain, he was like, oh, shoot, I sent them in. They were all killed off. I just don't really know what happened with that, but I don't know what ACC in terms of that means. It could be air. I would say ATC for air traffic control, but that's for those towers at airports. But ACC means, I think it means air crowd control. That's the only thing I can think of is what that could mean. The Harbingers have been forced back. I mean, 27 mass a second is a decent amount to kill off, but just building T3 Mexes on top of those kind of just mitigates that loss quite considerably for the Doctor, so not really too bad. Mega is online. Fatboy is also online for Team 1. There is that Omen over there. He has to be careful of how close he moves to that western side. Team 2 should be able to find... Oh, it's barely out... Okay, it's barely out of range, so yeah, unfortunately. Be forced back. All of these Harbingers down the middle line go, no, I'm not going to walk into that Megalith and retreat. Looks like the Megalith actually going to shift eastward. They're going to still attack on this eastern vector. It leaves the middle open for an attack. There are more units sitting here, though, just because of how the supply lines are arranged. But the Fat Boy going after everything in the water. Nothing can survive there. Missile ship is online. T2 land headquarters will be taken out very quickly here. There's a T3 land headquarters back here as a backup, as the primary. That's the backup. Miles is going to pop out of the water, and that shield is barely over the top. You can see Miles is actually able to overcharge on the ground here. And the pings do go down saying, hey, Miles is over there. And Miles trying to use the environment to cover. You see some ASFs coming in to protect the skies above his units that are moving in. Team 2 probably will respond to this. Yes, they will. I'm going to slow it down. His action is starting to heat up. Megalith changed directions going southward. Now Team 1 bombers moving in to go after that Fat Boy. And there's a bunch of AA in the area, so they'll do a little bit of damage to the shield, but not a lot. Miles now being flamed. And those Titans just kind of sitting there. Now they're firing on the unit. We see that Miles does quickly get underneath the surface to protect himself. Looks like the Fat Boy's been transferred over to the Doctor. He's going to actually attack things in the middle. T3 Air Headquarters and Aeon technology has been built and is now under the control of Scorpy. Very interestingly how they're shifting duties like that. Looks like it's going to be a secondary air player. Fat Boy is online here for Baller, and maybe he'll go for lasers. We'll have to see. Miles builds an experimental, most likely a Colossus, I would assume, because he is Aeon. Second one is being constructed, which yep, there it is right there. But with a Fat Boy and a Crab, it's going to be hard pressed to go after that. Both of them can attack at further range than the Colossus can. And all the Navy units move into the western side here for Team 2's orange player of Miles. There are some Percys trying to close the distance, targeting all of those frigates. I guess the frigates are just the cannon fodder and bullet sponges. Not bullet sponges, but at least the cannon fodder. A couple of those Percys do shift the entire naval fleet back. And the Fat Boy continuing to pressure T3 Air Headquarters is under threat. There are some Pigeons nearby. It's not going to be as much of an explosive venture. We're going after the headquarters, but at least killing off some power is better than nothing. Crab will fully engage the Colossus. There are a lot of T3 units here. This is probably the the biggest land battle we've had so far this cast. Unfortunately, there are a ton of bricks moving in to intercede for the Crab, and that brick firepower is going to overwhelm that Colossus quite considerably. Colossus has zeroed in onto the Megalith with its laser, but the Colossus is already in the yellow and falling quickly. Those bricks ravaging those harbingers quite quickly as well, and those bricks being grabbed. You can see, look at that firepower just blap away those hit points very, very quickly. Megalith will get a veteran seat from that. We see some units coming in to assist. There's a couple of Aurora trying to get in behind, just do some damage to the grab. But those bricks, they are going to hold strong. Second Colossus is half done. And that mass is in the middle of the map. I wouldn't say it's one way or the other in terms of Team 1 or Team 2. Fatty somewhere, says Taffy. Gets pinged by Team 1. They don't see it as of yet, but they know it's around there somewhere. Is there a Fatty being built by Team 1 in the main base? No. Artillery being built to counter the Omens and the missile ships that are now coming online here for Team 2 on the western edge. We do see a counterattack in Navy has been mounted by Scorpio. This T3 naval headquarters will be destroyed. A battleship was being built, but it's going to be denied, unfortunately, for Cups. I keep confusing Cups and Baller. SMD is online. I don't see any nukes coming online for Team 2 as of yet, or satellites, or any sort of big ticket item plays. That might be an artillery placement here pretty shortly. Yeah, I don't really see much of anything in terms of the big ticket items, but that may be blitzed out very quickly. Second Crab is online. If Team 2 does not get that Colossus or two onto the front lines, keeping your ASF here isn't a bad idea, but then getting that Colossus out of that mess that is a logistical nightmare isn't really great. We have bricks moving in from the water. Colossus will probably be diverted to deal with those. It looks like the Crab actually going to move westward to probably intercept the fleet from Team 2's Orange Scarlet Orange Player of Miles on that side of the map. And yeah, kind of the mill kind of just died out for action. The Fat Boy pushing in. Team 1 had the advantage in terms of Fat Boys and Crabs, but they just don't want to pressure it. Looks like they're trying to get in a nice little spook event, nice little just like spooky boo kind of scary event. But unfortunately, that is just going to close the distance for that Colossus, netting Team 2 the advantage. That's what the Megalith has in spades, is the range on board that. Versus the Colossus. We do see a Harbinger and engineers moving in to scoop the reclaim up. Landing your ASFs in the middle of the battlefield, not the best idea. We see the artillery from those Omens going after T3 Mechs, as well as the missiles coming in and trying to just slowly carve away at this base for Cups. Cups really needs to get some Torp bombers online. There's not really a lot of AA in this mix. There's a Kifa class aircraft carrier and a couple of T3 static emplacements. There's not really a lot. I mean, it's nice to have some stationary volcanoes, but there's TMD on board both the Omens and the Infinity class cruisers, so you don't really need TMD. But that Fat Boy just got annihilated by that crab coming out of the water, and the Colossus wreck has been half reclaimed roughly. Voltu's online as well from Cups to really just solidify that attack. Team 2 doesn't really have a lot of air-to-ground weaponry. They have a couple of gunships in the back. Colossus is somewhere down here. I don't know. Oh, no, it's right here sitting in the water. Maybe they're trying to go for a nice little attack from behind kind of thing, but it looks like it is going to be moving into position now. Might be going after the Fat Boy. Fat Boy producing a ton of units. Mostly those are engineers, but we'd like to see a couple of parashields and maybe some T2, T3 AA just to suppress the air power from Team 2. Looks like the Colossus might be moving in. I don't really know. Maybe he's trying to intercept the crabs. One of them is in the yellow. One of them is almost mint condition. ASF sitting here again, not the best idea. Colossus being built once again. PD being blapped away by those crabs. It's being attacked by some of those miasmas to the east. T3 air headquarters is fine for now. On the western side, artillery still chipping away at Cups' base. He's getting TMD, he's getting shields, he's getting artillery. It's really forcing back the range that those naval units can use. And we do see the pings going down, say move the Colossus. And we do see the SMD is being targeted. Maybe they're just kind of targeting all of the engineers. Going to slow down the construction of the new Colossus that's coming online here pretty shortly. Aircraft protecting that engineer. ASS will come in, kill off the rest of the gunships. And that Colossus has made its appearance from the bottom of the lake. Unfortunately, the crab turns around and goes, oh yeah, that's a thing I can shoot at. Fat Boy going after units in the middle of the map. Team 2 really forcing back the Doctor on the northern side. And there's another crab online here for Team 1. Looks like there's no effort. Oh, nope. Okay, well, there's a satellite being produced by Cups now, so that's a thing. Let's see what else is going down. Just kind of a quick break of the action. Satellites has been started for Team 2 as well. T3 Naval Headquarters is online producing those Althumes. That's a lot of build power going to that. He might go for those mobile nukes on board. And this base is being assailed as we speak. In the middle, Crab's still pushing in. Colossus is still alive somehow. I think the crabs are kind of just ignoring it for the time being. Trying to just take apart all the supply lines here. They might be going for that T3 Naval Headquarters, but they don't know if they've gone that far yet. They see that Colossus is catching up. Colossus will get just annihilated by those dual crabs. Does get a rank convention at a crucial moment. Will survive a little bit longer. There's some Voltos still being pumped up by Cups' air grids. And he has a nuke online. It was just finished. It isn't loaded as of yet. Does Team 2 know about it? No, they do not. Does Team 1 know about the satellites being produced? No, they do not. 43 minutes on the clock. Crabs are just ravaging the front line here for Team 2. Strap Bomb is moving in, going after the weaker of the two crabs. 5-star veterancy, 165,000 total hit points, sitting at 25,000 remaining. No more additional hit points for him. And this front line for Team 2, as Miles has seen better days. Team 2 sitting at 1.3k mass income. Team 1 at almost 900. Fat Boy has been killed off again for Team 2. This one back here is still online. We see a naval facility has been started here for Cups. And that Megalith is just going to receive Fat Boy fire till it dies. Going after T3 Mechs. Will it kill it off? There's a kill off that one. It will die as it gets the kill. ASF's chewing up Team 1's ASFs quite easily here for Team 2. And Team 1 is just spamming out units southward as fast as they can. There's another Megalith on the scene here pretty shortly. And on the western side, more and more battleships coming online. This base has been destroyed. Shields are trying to stave off the attack, but there's only so much they can do. We see some Riptides moving in, trying to kill off some of those battleships, but it's going to take a minute. There's a couple of sniper bots also in here, so those units will be taken out quite quickly. And the nuke isn't really getting a lot of assistance. We're seeing some shield commanders come online here from Team 1's Cups. Satellites in the yellow now. Fat Boy is the main ticket item here for Team 2's air grid player, or air player of Baller. There we go. Fat Boy ripping down that and the Colossus ripping down that crab. That crab is gone. And both of the crabs here for Team 1, at least the initial two, have been destroyed. This artillery base is being really well expanded. There is a chicken online, though, trying to dodge as many shots as it can while it walks. It dodges some of them, not all of them, but some shots do miss. It's a very slender frame, and you can actually kind of miss right underneath the shoulders and stuff. So you can try to dodge. Chicken is in the yellow, though, but this chicken is not going to be used for longevity. It's going to be used to just try to blitz down the artillery and force back Team 2's front line. And that chicken going to get a ton of value. Shouldn't walk away, though. Should stay right there. There he goes. Goes after most of those miasmas for Scorpy. And Ion Stone will activate. Most of the miasmas will be caught in the blast. Killed off already 5,000 mass. Bricks coming in to try to close the distance and go after the rest of those miasma. T2 artillery. And most of the miasma have now been destroyed. This entire base is now gone. And there goes all the miasma. Colossus coming in to try to cut off the reinforcements. There is a megalith right next door, though. And it's going to be a very clear winner for that Colossus unless these bricks and other units move in and go after it. T3 Air Headquarters has been destroyed. GG says Cups. And the Doctor says why. Nuke isn't really being primary. Team 2 has one SMD and it's in the main base. It is loaded. Artillery is online for Team 2's Miles. And he's going for a donut. Don't really know if Team 1 has the ability to fight back. The grid here in the north is being targeted. There is actually a secondary air grid been built by the Doctor to assist in the air game. SMD is loaded. We could see a teleport play out of the Doctor, and there's another crab online. Needs to be sent to the front line as soon as possible. And this Colossus sitting outside of its laser range. Crab is getting tons of value, tons of damage on board that Colossus. 2 Fat Boys now in range, though. That Megalith is going to be blitzed down, unfortunately. And in the northeast, it's just pushing back. Team 1 just ever so slightly over the course of 5-10 minutes. Chicken could easily be sent over to deal with all of this, but looks like it's going to be sent for the main base of Baller. You could actually just send that chicken all the way across the map to go after the air grid, possibly kill off a player on Team 2. Yes, it's GG, and Team 1 just recalls from the game with the artillery and the laser online. And the secondary base in the west here for Team 1's Cups kind of just diminished at this point. Had he been focusing the nuke, maybe that would have been enough. Not focusing the satellite, that might have been enough. He could have gone after this grid. There was no SMD over here. Could have taken out the artillery. The laser was just built, so Team 1 would have had enough time to really counter it. But I feel like just the everything going on, Team 1, they had a lot going for them in the middle, but just couldn't keep it up. Team 2's ego did drop below 1,000, so Team 1 wasn't that far behind in terms of mass generation just because of all of the mexes that were down in the south. But I just think Team 1 was just thinking it's going to take a lot, and I don't think they had enough. I feel like the Doctor could have teleported in with a telemazer. There's not a lot of PD. There's a couple over here. There's a couple of Ravagers. It would have been enough had he gone after the SMD, had the nuke been loaded. That would have been enough as well. You could have had this nuking this position. SMD would have been assisted after that. Teleport the common, kill off the SMD, fire the next nuke, and then that would have been game, essentially. So 2 nukes would have, I think, won the game for Team 1. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or not. But in terms of MVP for the game, I feel like Miles has it. I don't really know what happened with this little sitting in the water not being able to be targeted thing. He might have possibly died because of that, but Team 1 didn't see him for some strange reason. But I feel like the naval pressure in the west plus holding the middle for as long as he did really slowed down Team 1 enough. We also had Scorpio come in, flip the naval advantage on its head for them on the eastern side, push back Team 1 as well, cutting off a lot of mass. And at that point, I think the Cups was like, it's over. There's not really going to be much about it. left there for them, especially with the satellite overhead. I mean, it was getting shielded as we speak, but it would have been a slow burn of Team 2 winning, but I think Team 2 would have won unless Team 1 went for the nuke, which they weren't going for, which is unfortunate because they built the nuke really not early, but they had about, say, 10 minutes or so with it online. Plenty of time to try to go after this artillery base or go after the air grid. But anyways, let me know in the comments if you agree or not. Of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all the time and attention you give to my videos, and I will see all of you in the next one.